Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. Good morning. So you're doing okay. How's it going for all of you? Hope you guys are able to hear me. Guys, are you able to hear? Hello. Is there a problem? Are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my audio is clear, my video is clear, right? Okay. So a long break, isn't it? So I don't know how much you remember from whatever we saw, right? We were learning the basics, correct? So we were learning to write, how to write, how to write the formulas, right? What are all the things you have to remember? Octet rule, swapping the charges, right? So all the things you would have done it, right? And then we even went on to see how to balance the equation, right? What is the difference between a chemical reaction and a chemical equation, right? And then we went on to see how to balance these chemical equations, right? What is the need even for which we have to go for chemical equations, right? And how to balance them, right? So I think this is where we stopped, right? Okay, let me ask you some questions. I don't know how much you remember. Say, I ask you, what is the formula for ammonium carbonate? Can everybody put in the chat box? Everybody. I want the formula for ammonium carbonate. Right. Just put it in the chat box, the formula, everybody. I'm asking you the formula for ammonium carbonate. So you must know what is ammonium ion, what is carbonate ion, NH4, CO3. No, that's not correct, Aditi. Just go on, everybody. I want everybody to put their answers. Okay, Akshita, NH4 twice CO3. Yes, that's the answer. Right. Okay, NH4 twice CO3. Yes, Durlove, correct. Right. So hope you remember what are all the ions. If not, if you have taken notes, please go back and check. Right. I know it's been a long time, right? Almost a month. Yeah, NH4 Amrita, correct. Right. So fine. And guys, there is a new, they say, how to put it, a new technology, like not be like new technology, but for me it's new. So I'm actually using this. You can see a pen here. So I'll be using this slate, I would say, or what you call a digital pad, and I'll be writing on that, and I'll be sharing your screen. Right, I'll be sharing my screen, and you'll be able to see it. Okay, so my handwriting already is bad, as you all know. You have seen it in the board teaching, right? So please bear with me because this is the first time I'm doing all this, like say it's like writing in this pad and stuff. So if at all you find any problems, please do stop me right there and ask. Okay, right? I think I made my point clear. So let me share my screen, guys. And my video will be on, okay? Or if at all you don't want to see my face, you can switch off the video. Your choice. Anyways, let me share my screen. Okay, so suppose you're able to see the screen. Everybody is there, can everybody tell me that you're able to see the screen or not?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay, right. Okay. Fine. Okay, so this is just I was practicing. Right, let me add a page. Right. Full screen. Okay. Fine. So let me give some title to this. Okay, so this is 10th, and today's date is 6. What is the month? 6, right? June month, so it is 6, right? Okay. Fine. So let me try. Okay, I'm just all right. Okay, it's moving. Okay, fine. So is you able? Are you able to see the letters, guys? Whatever I'm writing, I wrote a hi. Are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So please bear with me, guys. Okay, fine. Anyways, so I was asking you what is the formula for ammonium carbonate. So please understand. Let me rub this part. Okay, so ammonium. What happened? Oh, sorry. Oh, it's going up. Okay, fine, no problem. So ammonium, if I write ammonium ion is NH4 plus, right? This is what is ammonium ion, right? So hope you remember this. And if I go for carbonate, carbonate would be, so that is carbonate is this thing. So it would be CO3 2 minus. So that's the formula, right? I mean, that's the formula for carbonate ion. So now what do you have to do? You have to subtract it plus. So basically this plus will come here. This 2 will come here to ammonium. So the formula would be NH4 twice CO3, right? So like, guys, if you don't remember the formulas, again, as I told you, it's very difficult in this particular chapter, right? Anyways, so I think that are the basics. So fine. Anyways, let us move on into the equations and balancing. Let me give you a maybe a question, right? Let us test you how much you remember. Okay, so let me write. Right, say I write. Okay, so this is the equation: magnesium plus oxygen giving magnesium oxide. Okay, so I want you to write the equation and also balance it. Go for it. Right, magnesium plus oxygen giving magnesium oxide. I want you to write the equation, chemical equation for this, and and also balance it. Please go for it. Okay, maybe I'll look at the chat box. Yeah, so I am looking at the chat box. Two mg plus O2 gives 2 mg. Yes, correct. Sashmita, it's right. Right. This is a simple equation. I hope everybody must be able to get this through. 2 mg plus O2 giving 2 mg. Yes, Durlaf, it's right. Okay, fine. So if I just make it full screen again. Yeah. So there is no discussion. Yeah. So I know for magnesium as a metal, so we write it in monoatomic form. Hope you all remember, guys. Monoatomic means only one single atom. Generally, metals will exist in their monoatomic form. Non-metals like oxygen, chlorine, fluorine, nitrogen, all these things will exist in diatomic form, right? So magnesium will be Mg plus oxygen would be O2 gives MgO. Okay. So again, how formula for Mg magnesium oxide? How is the formula as MgO? Again, you have to go back. to this particular case, like what we saw here above. Like you have to know the charges, you have to strip swap and get this. Basically, Mg will form Mg2 plus and oxygen will form O2 minus. So 2 gets cancelled, so you'll get MgO. That's how you write it. Right. So now going for balancing, again, it's pretty easy. Just check for magnesium now. So magnesium here you see is only one magnesium, and here also you see it's only one magnesium. Right. But if we go for oxygen, here you see one oxygen, but you see here there are two oxygen atoms. Right. So what I have to do to balance it, to put a 2 here. Right. So it becomes two. Now it becomes 2 magnesiums and 2 oxygen on the product side. Now, okay, oxygen is balanced. Yes, 2 oxygen atoms both in the reactant and the product side. Now, when I go to magnesium, it's not balanced because it's 1 here, and here you see there are 2 magnesiums here, right? So you will see that here I have to put, sorry guys, it's 2 Mg. Please bear with it, right? So it's 2 Mg, or I can write it properly. Okay, fine, whatever it is. So it's 2 Mg plus O2 giving 2 MgO. That's the fully balanced chemical equation, right? So this is just for you to, just have a quick recap of whatever we have been doing, right? Okay, so we'll move on, guys, right? Yeah, I hope there is no problem. Right, okay. So next, what we'll try to see today is, I think I have been already mentioning it. We will try to understand what are the ways in which you will be able to make the chemical equation more informative. Right? What other information will you be able to give other than just the reactants is symbol and the products is symbol? Right? In general, you give, say, a reactant plus another reactant, say another reactant, arrow mark, and you write the product. Say one, product 2, product 3, so on and so forth. You write the formula. Other than this, right? What are all the things which you can include in a chemical equation? Right? That's what we are going to see. Right? Okay. So in that case, the first one is, say I can include the state, right? So what do you mean by state? Now, please understand, people, state can be either of the following 4. 1, it can be solid, it can be liquid, it can be a gas, or it can be an aqueous solution. Only these 4 are the possible states. Okay, so we know solid, liquid, gas, isn't it? Certain compounds or certain elements are in a solid state, certain elements are liquid state, certain compounds are gaseous state. Now, what do you mean by an aqueous solution? That's what you have to understand, right? So remember, guys, when I say aqueous solution, it is nothing but a solution in which the solvent is water, right? Say, for example, if I'll write like something like this. How will I write is like this. Say, I'll write NaCl aqueous. Now, if I write like this, what do you mean by this is, I know sodium chloride is a salt, right? So sodium chloride, if I dissolve it in water, right, then how will I represent it? This is how I represent it. I write NaCl aqueous. Means what? NaCl is dissolved in water. That's what I told. When I say an aqueous solution, that means it is a solution in which the solvent is water. You know, there in the solution, there are 2 things, right? One is solute, another one is solvent, right? The solvent here is water. Okay, so only these 4, right? Only these 4 are the possible states which you can include in the chemical equation. Okay, so when for example, if I go back, right? If I go back to this equation, right? That is 2 Mg plus O2 giving 2 MgO. Okay, so let us try to give some more information here. Okay, so now let me bring the pointer. Yeah, so like Mg will be, one second. Okay, right. So Mg will be in solid state. Generally, I write with S, right? I know magnesium. This is a very famous experiment also, which you maybe if you would have gone for your labs, right? 10th labs. This is one of the first experiments you do. Okay, so what you do is you take magnesium, right? And remember that magnesium will be in the form of ribbons. Right, magnesium will be in the form of ribbons. Say you must have seen girls tying their hair with ribbons, right? It will be something like that. Okay, a string, like kind of stuff. Okay, so do you take this magnesium? So like if you want to make this reaction happen, right? So what will happen is this magnesium as such will not be that reactive. Okay, this magnesium ribbons which we take will not be as such very reactive. So what is the reason, right? Why is it that it is not that much reactive? It's because, say now I have a magnesium ribbon, assume it like this. Okay, so onto this magnesium ribbon, it will not only be magnesium. See, please understand, people, all elements are little reactive. Okay, all elements are little reactive. So if you keep it open to the atmosphere, okay, if you keep it open to the atmosphere, say in the atmosphere, I can have, say, O2 gas, N2 gas, carbon dioxide gas, so all the different kinds of gases can be there. Okay, so this magnesium ribbon, which I have here, right, this magnesium ribbon, which I have here, will try to react. If you're going to make it open to the atmosphere for a long amount of time, right, so this magnesium will try to react. Okay, so what is going to happen? I am going to have some kind of coating on this magnesium ribbon. Say this can be magnesium oxide, this can be magnesium nitride, magnesium carbonate, it can be anything. Okay, so what I want you to understand is this magnesium ribbons which I take, right, will not be pure. And this, why is it not pure? It is not because it is manufactured impure. No, it is because magnesium is highly reactive, right? It is because magnesium is highly reactive and that it is going to react with the atmospheric gases. Okay, so if it is going to react with atmospheric gases, the top layer of the magnesium, as you have mentioned here, the top layers of magnesium will get a coating. Okay, so because of this coating, right, the magnesium's reactivity is decreased. This is a very famous question, people. They'll always ask this. Okay, why magnesium? Like, okay, fine. We'll come to the question. What kind of question they'll ask? Okay, so how to overcome this? Right, if magnesium is going to be, say, a little unreactive because of this coating, right? Because of this coating, if it is going to be unreactive, how are we going to overcome it? So what we do, we are going to take a sandpaper, right? We are going to take a sandpaper. I think you must have seen sandpaper. They will use it to, say, rub the wood, like say the furniture which you have. If you have seen making furnitures, right? The sandpaper will be, one side will be soft, another side will be very hard. Is there anybody who have not seen sandpaper? You can put in the chat box. Just put a no if you have not seen it. Nice. Has everybody seen sandpaper? I'm looking at the chat box, or you can even open your mouth and tell you. Has everybody seen a sandpaper, or is there anyone who didn't see what a sandpaper is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, if I'm not right, Fuja, right? It's she has seen. Okay, Arman has seen. So I hope everybody has seen what is a sandpaper. Okay. If not, let's go to a hardware shop and ask for sandpaper. Give me 10 rupees and you can play with it if you want. Okay. Cool. So what we are going to do is full screen. Yeah. So we take this sandpaper, right, and we rub it on the magnesium ribbons. Okay. So when I rub it on the top layer here, so I mean, sorry, if I rub it on the top layer here, all these coatings will be removed. Okay, all these coatings will be removed, and then I can do whatever I want. Okay, so it doesn't happen on it. It is not only happening with magnesium; it can happen with all the metals. Say if you take aluminium, iron, right? If you take zinc, all these elements will suffer the same kind of stuff, right? But the moment you take it out, right, it will not be pure. So you have to do something for it to remove the coating and stuff, right? And this coating we'll study in the later part of the chapter. That is what is called as corrosion, right? So we say that iron is corroding, iron is rusting, right? All these things we'll see what exactly are those things, right? It is exactly the same mechanism. The metal will react with the atmospheric oxygen or atmospheric gases to form a coating, and that coating is what is generally called as corrosion. That process is what is called as corrosion. Anyways, we'll not spend time on it. So why did we come here? Is to see how this experiment works, right? So magnesium reacting with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. So I told you that first is magnesium, you take it, you rub it with the sandpaper, then now it's ready. Okay, now how come oxygen is going to come, right? Are we going to supply oxygen, say, through a tube, through magnesium? Any ideas you have? How are you going to get this oxygen from? Where are you going to get the oxygen from? Or how are we going to make the reaction happen? Any idea? Is it like,
From the
is it like I'm
atmosphere.
going to go? Okay, obviously from the atmosphere. So from the atmosphere, I collect only oxygen gas, and through a tube, I make it in contact with magnesium. Is it like that? Or is there some other mechanism? How do we make sure that oxygen reacts with magnesium? Obviously, oxygen is coming from atmosphere. Magnesium ribbon we have in our hands. So just like that, if you keep it open in the atmosphere, well, is it this reaction going to happen? That's what I'm asking. Yes. Any ideas? No, it can be wrong. Doesn't matter at all. Please come up with your ideas.
Sir, if magnesium is in direct contact with the atmosphere, there are other gases also, sir. So
Okay,
reaction may
fine.
not take place.
Okay, fine. So then how will we do it? Okay, fine. So it's very simple, people. See, remember oxygen, the moment wherever you see oxygen, whenever, not only in this reaction, any other reaction you see oxygen, what I'm going to do is basically heat. Okay, so I have the magnesium strips with me, magnesium ribbons with me. I am going to take it to a burner. Okay, so there'll be flame and I put it in the flame. That's it. That's what is basically oxygen. That is what is like, remember, when there's something called as, okay, we'll talk about this later. There's something called as combustion reaction, right? Maybe I'll include it somewhere here. Right? Combustion reactions, right? So what do you mean by combustion? Right? Combustion is basically burning with oxygen. Okay, combustion is burning with oxygen. So basically any reaction which will involve oxygen will always involve combustion, heating it, like burning it. Okay, so we know oxygen is a very good supporter of combustion, isn't it? It is a supporter of combustion. The moment you're going to supply some heat, by the moment that you're going to bring it to a burner, all the atmosphere, so obviously the oxygen is going to come from the atmosphere. There's no doubt about it. Okay, but if you heat the magnesium and oxygen will bond together, right? And then eventually they will form magnesium. Right? That is how it takes. Anyways, so now obviously I know oxygen will be in gaseous state. So I write a G here, right? Magnesium was in solid state. So I wrote a S here, S there for magnesium. And in this case, you see in this magnesium oxide will also be in solid state. So I write a S. Okay. This in the magnesium oxide will also be in solid state. So we write a S. So I told you, we are talking about what other information we are trying to give. And this is one of the information, the states in which the reactants and products are present. Okay, now this is a very, and the flame you see, I told you that this magnesium strips has to be gotten to the burner and it will burn with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. Right, now there is one beautiful thing happening with magnesium. The thing is, we are talking about burning, isn't it? Obviously there'll be flame. Correct. There'll be flames happening. Say if you light a matchbox, there'll be flame. If you light a stove, there'll be flame. Right. So in your home, if you have seen your LPG, say gas stove, the moment you light it, you will see it is blue color flame. Is it not? Right. It will be blue color flame. But if you're gonna take a matchbox, right, and you're gonna say light it, you will see that it will be say orangish, yellowish color. Right. And now if you take magnesium and try to burn it, you will see that it is going to be a dazzling white. Guys, I think I'll write it here. Okay, so I'll write it here. Okay, so it is going to be a dazzling white flame. Right? This is what you have to remember. This phrase you have to remember. Right? Magnesium burns with oxygen with a dazzling white flame. So it will be pure white. If you go to your labs, you will eventually do this experiment. Don't worry, right? So you'll take the magnesium and you put it in the burner and you take it off. You will see that the magnesium will continue to burn, right? And it will burn with a dazzling white flame. Okay, fine. So these are all the things you have to understand regarding this magnesium plus oxygen giving magnesium oxide reaction. Okay, fine. So we were talking about what are all the different, let's see. information you can give regarding a chemical equation. First one was state. We understood there are, maybe we'll see one more example. Right? Okay. Say if I take, say, right, I take calcium hydroxide, right? CaOH twice. Okay. Now calcium hydroxide will generally be in aqueous state, right? Say plus. I give CO2 to this, okay, and now this is going to form CaCO3, which is a solid, plus H2O, which is a liquid. Now see how many things are almost, now whatever we saw, the four possibilities, that is solids, liquids, aqueous solutions and gases, all four are present in this. Okay, right? Now you look at this calcium hydroxide is a, okay, you see it's aqueous solution here. Here you see this is a carbon dioxide, I know is a gas, and this is a solid. Okay, so calcium carbonate, CaCO3 is a solid, and obviously we know H2O is a liquid. Okay, so like this, you will be able to give information about the states. Okay, now one more beautiful thing is happening here. Okay, so the thing is, guys, say I have oxygen, I have nitrogen, I have carbon dioxide, I have hydrogen. Right? Maybe let me write it. Okay, say I have H2, O2, CO2, and what else? N2. Okay, say I have all these things. I have these four gases. Right now, all of them are colorless, isn't it? Now you will not be able to see any of them. Right, H2 is colorless, O2 is colorless, and all of them are odorless. There is no smell also for none of them. Okay, now what we'll try to understand is, say in this case, I'm telling you that CO2 is reacting. Okay, in this case, I'm telling you that CO2 is reacting. How will I know that CO2 is only reacting? How will I know that it is not H2 or O2? Or say in any other reaction for that matter, say there is oxygen. How will I know there is only oxygen reacting? No other thing is reacting. So what I'm going to do is, there are something called as tests. Test for gases. Okay, it's for, one second. Tests for, for gases. Right. So what are these tests? Okay. So this, whatever I'm doing here, this carbon dioxide, whatever the reaction which whatever we wrote here, right, is actually a test for carbon dioxide. Now, how is it a test for carbon dioxide? I'll tell you. Basically, if you want to know, say assume that, okay, like let me put it like this. Okay. Say I have some reactant R giving product plus one of the product is CO2. Okay, say I have some reaction happening, reactant giving product, and one of the product is CO2. Okay, now how will I know whether CO2 is only coming out? So what I do is I will take this CO2, okay, I will take this CO2 and make this reaction happen. What reaction? Whatever the reactions you wrote here. Okay, I will take, so I have a reaction in which one of the product is CO2. Okay, now how will I confirm that that is CO2 only? Is by doing this reaction what we are seeing here. CaOH twice plus CO2 giving CaCO3 plus H2O. Now, how are we going to confirm it? Right? Now, please understand, people, this particular whatever thing we write here, this reaction is what is called as lime water turning milky. Okay, lime water turning milky. Now, what is the first thing what you have to understand is what do you mean by lime water? Okay, lime water is nothing but CaOH twice. Okay, see calcium hydroxide. Okay, calcium hydroxide is what is called as your lime water. It's a common name. Okay, there are so many other stuff, so flaker lime, quick lime, and all that. We'll see it later. Okay, for now, lime water is CaOH twice. Calcium hydroxide is what is called as your lime water. Okay, so the moment you're going to pass carbon dioxide to lime water, so you have the lime water here, you have the carbon dioxide here. So if you're going to take that product, basically you saw the reaction here, you saw the reaction in this, that I have CO2 getting produced. You will bring that CO2 to this calcium hydroxide solution. You will pass it to this. So what will happen is you see that this CaCO3 is getting formed. Okay. Now remember, guys, this CaCO3 is not soluble in water. You see that there is H2O formed, right? Now, if it is completely dissolved in water, if this CaCO3 was completely dissolved in water, you will see a colorless solution. How, for example, if I have NaCl, say sodium chloride dissolved in water, you will see a say colorless solution. You don't see a salt, isn't it? Like that, you are not going to see here. What is going to happen is this CaCO3 is not dissolved in water. So this is going to form, I told you it's a solid, right? It will be existing in the this thing. So this entire thing is what is my milky solution. Now, why is it a milky solution? It's because CaCO3 is not dissolved in water. It is not capable of getting dissolved in water. Okay, so now what this is the test, right? So if I want to confirm that one of the product is CO2, I take the CO2 out. I give it to the CaOH twice, that is lime water, and this lime water and CO2 will react to form CaCO3 plus H2O. And this CaCO3 is not dissolved in water. It cannot dissolve in water, so it is going to form a milky turbid solution. You will see like a milky, like I hope you have seen milk, right? It will be something like that, a milky solution, right? It is not a clear solution. If it was NaCl or some other compound which is getting formed, right, it would have formed a clear solution. But since CaCO3 is not dissolved in water, it is going to form a milky solution. So someone asks you, what is the test for CO2, right? How do you confirm that CO2 is present? You will say that by using the experiment, lime water turning milky. Okay, right? Everybody understood. I want the S from everybody, either in the chat box or you open your mouth and say, everybody understood this, what we are seeing here. What is the test for CO2 is lime water turning milky, and how it's milky, that also have to understand. CO3 is not dissolved in water, so now they are going to form a milky solution. Yes, everybody understood? Yes, can I get a yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think some more chats are coming up. Okay, yes, understood. Yes, okay. Cool. I'm very happy. Right. If you have any doubts anywhere, even if I already mentioned it, even if it is a stupid doubt, if you feel it might not be stupid, it might be a good doubt. Right. So stop me right there and ask. Right. There is no waiting. Okay, fine.
Sir,
so we are seeing a lot of it. Yeah.
Sir, clear solution is which is like so what is like clear solution, sir?
Say you take sugar. In your home you have sugar. You dissolve, yes, you put it in water and you stir it. Yes, so what do you see? You see only water, right? I mean, you're seeing as if there is only water, correct? A clear solution.
Yes, sir.
That is what is called. It's a clear solution. Okay. Right. Cool. So now in this case, you will not see a clear solution. You will be seeing a milky solution. Basically, clear solutions are transparent, isn't it? Now this is not going to be transparent. It is going to be some milky, some kind of say now if I put powder in water, how it will be? Right? If you take a talcum powder and if you put it in water and try to mix it, how it will be? That's exactly what you will see. Or guys, if I have to give you a real life thing, see calcium carbonate, which you see here, this is the one which is made to use chalk. Your teachers use chalk to write on the board, isn't it? So all those are actually calcium carbonate. Okay. Now what? Like you try to powder the chalk and you put it in water, it will not dissolve. Okay, you'll see that it is going to form a milky solution, a turbid solution. Okay, that again you'll see that calcium carbonate is present. Anyways, so I hope I answered your question. Okay,
yes,
fine.
Sir.
So yeah, cool. So what I was telling is, yeah. So we saw what is the test for what is this carbon dioxide? Very, very, very important question. They'll ask you what is the test for carbon dioxide. You have to mention that it will turn lime water milky, and you have to write the equation and explain it, how it is a milky solution. All 3 points should be mentioned, only then you get full marks. Okay, fine. Okay, sir, I understood how are you going to confirm CO2? How am I going to confirm O2? Now, O2, we don't have any such test as such, but you know, for example, if O2 is present and I bring a matchstick, right? If there is O2 and if I bring a burning matchstick, right, what will you see? The matchstick will burn more and more. Remember this, okay? Now, why? Can someone tell me why? If I say, I'll repeat the question, right? So I have a burning matchstick. I have lit a matchstick, right? And I bring it to a place where there is oxygen. what will you like? I'm telling you that the matchstick will burn more. I say it is going to burn in a faster rate. Why? Why is it like that? Hope you understood my question. I have a burning matchstick, right? And to this burning matchstick, I give more oxygen, right? This burning matchstick is going to burn more in a faster rate. Why? Why is the question?
Because
I answered this question. Yeah, tell me, please. Yes, Kana, tell me. Combustion?
Combustion is oxygen for burning.
Okay. Almost, I will say this is what to say. Okay, answer. Okay, answer. The correct answer, I mentioned this particular term when we were saying that magnesium plus oxygen reaction. What did I tell you about oxygen? Remember, oxygen is a supporter of combustion, right? Oxygen is a supporter of combustion. This is the term you have to remember. Oxygen is a supporter of combustion, right? So since the supporter of combustion, more and more oxygen I give, more and more will be the burning. Okay, so by that way you will be able to, but not a reliable test. It's not a good test for oxygen like that. Okay, fine. Now, where is it? So we saw CO2. So now we saw a little bit about O2 also, but not a good way. There are various other ways, but that is a little more complex. We'll not see into it. Let me talk about H2, right? How will I find out? How will I confirm that H2 is produced, or say during a reaction in one of the product is H2? How do I confirm it? Okay, maybe I'll give you some reactions, then you'll be able to. Okay, let me write some reactions here. Okay, say one of the reactants, say I have Na reacting with HCl to form NaCl plus H2. Okay, right? Again, this reaction is not balanced. Maybe we'll balance it. Maybe you just take a minute to balance this reaction first. I'll give you a minute, 1 minute, 60 seconds exactly. Try to balance this. I hope easy only. Okay, fine. So let me do it. So you see, there is only one sodium, and there is one sodium, one chlorine, one hydrogen, but you see there are two hydrogens. So now obviously I have to put a 2 here. So it's 2 HCl, right? So when I put 2 hydrogens, so 2 hydrogens are okay, but again, chlorine is a problem now. Is it not? So 2 chlorine, but there is only 1 chlorine here. So in this case, you will put a 2 here. Now, hydrogen is balanced, 2 hydrogens, chlorine is balanced, 2 chlorine. But again, you see there's a problem with sodium now. 1 sodium, but there is 2 sodium here. So I have to put a 2 here. Okay. So anyways, this is the balanced chemical equation. Okay. 2Na plus 2 HCl gives 2 NaCl plus H2. Okay, fine. Now say, let me include the, what is that? States also, states in which they are present. Here it is a solid. Sodium will be in the solid form. And HCl, remember HCl will be in aqueous solution. Basically, there will be HCl gas, and that HCl gas will be dissolved in water. Okay, that is how you get hydrochloric acid. Okay, remember, we'll talk about it more when we go for the next chapter, acid, bases, and salts. Okay, so anyways, so when I say HCl aqueous, means what? Is HCl gas is dissolved in water, and that is what is called as your hydrochloric acid. Okay, fine. Anyways, now again, I know NaCl will be an aqueous solution because it is not being solid form. And here you see hydrogen is a gas. Okay, now there are 2 ways of representing a gas, especially if it's a product, right? In the product side, if you see a gas, you will actually put this symbol. Okay, you will actually put this symbol indicating that H2 is escaping. Okay, but it's in the product side. For example, H2 comes in the product side, then you write H2 gas only. Please remember this. Okay, whenever it is coming in the reactant side, you just write the gas means gas G. But if the gas is evolved in the product, then you represent it with the help of an arrow mark like this. Okay, upward arrow mark. Anyways, we'll speak more about it. We are not concentrating on this. We'll come back to this again. So the thing is, what you see here is H2 is getting produced. Okay, hydrogen gas is getting produced. Okay, now how do we confirm it? Okay, now please understand, people, H2 is also a supporter of combustion. Okay, H2 is also a supporter of combustion. Okay, so what will happen is, if you bring a burning, okay, I'll write here, a burning matchstick, right, will, sorry, or I will write it another way, right? Right. Say I will write like this. Right. I'll write H2 burns with a pop sound. Okay. So what do you mean by this? H2 burns with a pop sound or with extinguishes pop sound? 1 second. Right? Just give me a minute. Right. So what I was telling was correct. Okay, so H2 burns with the pop sound. So let me make an experiment. Okay, let me draw like this. Say I have a tube, inverted tube. Okay, say assume that in this area, right, there is H2. Okay, in this area there is H2. So now what I do is I bring, guys, please bear with me. Whatever, this is a matchstick. Okay, this is a burning matchstick. Okay, so you bring this matchstick in a place where there is H2, right? Please understand that H2 is highly inflammable. H2 can catch fire easily. Okay, now it is going to catch fire, and it is not only going to catch fire, it is going to catch fire with a pop sound. It will be like something like that. That sound will come. That pop sound will come. Like if you can even do this experiment, but I don't know where you will get hydrogen from. If you have hydrogen and if you have a matchstick, right? If you bring them closer, you will see the sound. That pop sound will come. Okay, so by this you will be able to confirm that H2 is there. Okay, by this you'll be able to confirm that H2 is there. This is the test for hydrogen. Okay, so if someone asks you what is the test for hydrogen, you tell them that H2 is highly inflammable. So if a burning matchstick is bought, I'm going to hear a pop sound. That's it, as simple as that. Okay, I'm going to hear a pop sound. So what is the test for CO2? The test for CO2 was lime water turning milky. And for H2, it is H2 burns with the pop sound. That is what you have to remember. That sound. Okay, I think even you can make it easy like that. Anyways, right? So that's the sound you will see if H2 burns when you bring a matchstick near H2. Okay, fine. So this is okay for us. Okay, fine. Okay, so we understood for CO2, we understood for H2. Now let us, for O2 also we saw it is a very good supporter of combustion, but there is no sound, right? Same thing will happen. There'll be more burning if there is oxygen instead of hydrogen, but there'll not be any sound. Okay, right? Fine. Now, what about N2? Right? What about N2? Like we have N2 here, right? Now that is your homework. Okay, so next class, I will ask you, how will you test or how will you confirm that nitrogen is there? Okay, that is your homework for this week. Okay, what and all the ways? There's only one way. Again, obviously, I'm going to use some matchstick or something, right? So use Google and find it out. Okay, what is the test for N2 gas, nitrogen gas? Okay, guys, any questions till now? Any questions? I hope everything is clear, right? Okay, fine. So we were talking about, what are the different ways in which I'll be able to provide more information. So first one is state. Okay. Now in that we saw so many stuff, whatever comes along with it. Okay. Now the second thing which you can include, right? The second thing which you can include is the upward and the downward arrows. Okay. The upward and this I already mentioned, just now I mentioned. Okay. Now please understand this upward arrow is for gaseous product. See, I'm mentioning this. It's only for product. It's only for gaseous products. Okay. Now this is for a precipitate. This is for a precipitate. Okay. Right. Now let us understand what we're trying to do. Say now this, I think gaseous product will be able to understand very easily, right? Is it not? It's pretty easy. You see, here I have mentioned, if you look at this H2 equation, you see H2 gas is coming out as a product. So I represent it with the arrow mark above. Okay, now we saw actually one more equation. Now you see, in this case, for example, you see, in this case, also carbon dioxide is getting evolved, correct? So again, I put a upward arrow in this. Okay, right? But in this case, like you see, if I see in this case, you see, like if I take the lime water turning milky reaction, you see here, I have written CO2 gas only. I didn't write CO2 with an arrow mark. Why? Because CO2 here is in reactant side, not in product side. Only and only if a gas comes in the product side, then you will use the upward arrow mark. Okay, right? So like this, you'll be able to, or I can give you one more example also. Say I'll give you one more example. I'll write, say CH4. Can someone tell me what is CH4? The name of the compound? What is CH4, guys? CH4? Anybody?
The methane.
Yes, it is methane. Absolutely right. Right. So the methane, like we have been protesting in Tamil Nadu for this methane gas only. Anyways, right. So methane, right? Methane is a gas. Okay. Methane is a gas. And I go for combustion reaction. Okay. If I say combustion, remember guys, remember this. Okay. When I say combustion, that means burning with oxygen. Please remember this. When I say combustion reaction, I say combustion of methane, combustion of something else. The moment you see combustion of, say, if I say combustion of methane, what you have to understand is methane is going to react with oxygen, or say it is going to burn with oxygen. By the moment you see the word combustion, you have to understand that oxygen is going to be one of the reactant. Okay, fine. That we understood. Let us write. So I say burning of again. You see, we start saying burning of magnesium. Again, you saw oxygen come. Anyways, so CH4 is there. O2 again is a gas. Now you see CH4 is a gas. O2 is a gas. Now when they burn together, they will form CO2 plus right CO2 and where are you here? Right, CO2 gas and H2O gas is produced. Okay, I think you are not able to see the full reaction, isn't it? Okay, now you're able to see. Right, so CH4 plus O2 will give CO2 plus H2O. Again, you see in the reactant side, both are gases. So I write G and G, but in the products also they are both gases. But I don't put G, I put 2 arrow marks up. Okay, this is to mention that these are gases. Okay, gases are getting evolved. Okay, fine. Now, what do you mean by this one? That is this one, like what I wrote here, the downward arrow mark, right? The downward arrow mark, how are you going to use it? Okay, now I'll show you one example which we already saw. Let me show you that. Right, now again the same equation, lime water turning milky. Same equation only I'm going to take. Now you see the CaCO3, right? I told you CaCO3 will not dissolve in water. Correct? It is going to form a solid. Now, instead of writing this solid, right? Instead of writing this solid, you can, this is going to be a precipitate, basically a precipitate. When I say a precipitate is something which is undissolved, which is not capable of dissolving in that particular solvent. Okay. When I say precipitate, what do you mean by a precipitate? It's like, for example, if I put sand in water, what will happen? The sand is going to settle down, isn't it? So I will call that particular thing as a precipitate. Okay. So precipitate is anything which is undissolved, right? It is not going to dissolve. That is what is called as a precipitate. Okay. So how do you represent a precipitate? I told you that it is going to be a solid here. So if you want to represent as a precipitate, you can actually put like this. Where are you? Yeah. You can actually put a downward arrow like this. Okay. Right. You can put a downward arrow like this. Maybe I'll give you one more example. Okay. So if I give you one more example, space. Okay, I'll write it here. Right. Say I have. Okay, first you do it. I want to write this. I have lead sulfate plus sodium iodide gives lead iodide plus sodium sulfate. Okay, this is sodium sulfate, guys. If you are a little worried, okay, this is sodium sulfate. Okay, now first, what do? You write the equation and you try to balance it. That's the first job. Go for it. I'll give you a minute. Maybe I'll give you 2 minutes. Go for it. First, write. What is that? Write the equation and balance it. Yeah, for this particular chemical reaction. Okay, there are chats. I'm going to see. Okay, so these were all previous things. Okay, fine, good. Yes, I'm seeing that for Na plus HCl, there was a lot of correct answers. Durla was right. Harita missed 2 NaCl. But other than that, everything was right. Yeah, methane. Yes, do you want to see the equation or whatever it is, that reaction? Yeah, reaction. Write the equation and balance it. Lead will form what ion? Or first question, what is the symbol for lead?
Pb.
Pb, sir.
That is correct. Okay, Pb. So Pb will form what ion? I told you 3 elements, which you can do it with atomic number, but for 3 elements, I told you have to remember the charge. One is lead, the other one is zinc, the other one is barium. All of them will have charge of what? All of them will have a charge of plus?
2 plus.
Yes, 2 plus. Please remember this, guys. Remember, I have, okay, Pb 2 plus, zinc 2 plus, Ba 2 plus. Now these 3 things will form only 2 plus. Okay, please remember this. Okay, right? Now, why am I not going for the normal method which we do? I can easily find out that zinc will form Zn2 plus and all that. But again, it will be a little complicated. The atomic numbers are pretty high. Okay, the atomic numbers of them are pretty high. So writing them and giving out the electrons and stuff will be a little more complicated. You have to understand more. When we maybe go to 11th class, you will study about them. Okay, so for now, lead, zinc, and barium, all of them will form 2+ ions. Okay, right, fine. So what is the formula for sulfate? Sulfate ion, what is the formula?
SO4 2-.
Absolutely, SO4 2-. Okay, so SO4 2- is absolutely right. Iodide, what is iodide?
I-.
Yes, absolutely. Now remember, it is like what to say? Chlorine, fluorine, chlorine, iodine, bromine, all of them belong to the same group. I mentioned about periodic table, if you remember, right? So I told you that there's going to be something called as groups and periods. The vertical columns are what are called as groups, right? And the horizontal rows are what are called as periods. Anyways, we'll not go into the details. So elements coming in the same group, like say lithium, sodium, potassium, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, like this, all of them come under same group. So when they come under same group, they will form same kind of ion. For example, Li will form La plus, Na will form Na plus, K will form K plus, because they all belong to the same family. Same way, beryllium 2+, magnesium 2+, calcium 2+, all of them will form 2+2+2+. Okay, so same way when I go for the other side, that is anions, again, fluorine will form F-, Cl will form Cl-, Br will form Br-, I will form I-, again, because they belong to the same family. Okay, fine. So we understood what are all the ions present. Pb is Pb2+, sulfate is SO4 2-, and iodide is I1-. Okay, so now I think everybody will be able to write the formula and write the required equation and balance it. Yes, go for it. And I obviously know sodium is going to form sodium plus, right? There's some chat box, is it? Come on, guys, are you trying out? It wouldn't have taken this much time, I guess. Yes, any answers? You should have gotten it. Anyways, if you are not ready to type, maybe you can at least check when I write the correct answer. So this is how it is going to be, right? This is going to be PbSO4 plus NaI gives PbI2 plus Na2 SO4. And if I have to balance it, say I start with sodium, 1 sodium here, 2 sodiums here. So I put a 2 here. Okay, wait. Okay, so it is going to be 2 NaI. Okay, so 2 NaI. So that means 2 sodiums and 2 sodiums. Now you see there are 2 iodines, 1 lead, 1 sulfur, 4 oxygen, 4 oxygen. So balanced. Okay, anybody, like how many of you got this? Please give me a yes. PbSO4 plus 2 NaI gives PbI2 plus Na2SO4. Anybody got? Nobody got. Are even there? I hope everybody is there. Okay. I don't know what is the problem here. I hope everybody should have gotten it. Maybe just because you see a new element, lead and sulfate and stuff, I think iodide you would have got a little tense. But it's very easy. If you know the ions, swap and try to get the formula and you write it. And balancing is very easy. Okay. So why did we start all this is because you see that lead iodide will actually be a precipitate. Okay, so if I can include all the stuff here, you see this is an aqueous solution. Sodium iodide will be an aqueous solution. Na2SO4 will also be an aqueous solution. But you see this here will be a precipitate. So I represent with the downward arrow. And especially if I can mention it, this will actually be yellow color precipitate. Yellow PPT. If I write PPT, it's precipitate. Okay, this will be an yellow color precipitate. Okay, so if you look at the solution, right? If you look at the solution, after the reaction has gotten over, you will find that the solution would have become yellow in color. Okay, by this you'll be able to confirm that PbI2 is getting formed. Okay, so that's it, guys. Any questions, guys? That's it for today. Any questions you want to ask? Anything you want to ask? Is everything
sir,
clear?
can you repeat the homework?
Yeah, homework is what is the test for nitrogen? How will you confirm?
Okay,
like how we did for hydrogen and carbon dioxide. We say that it is for hydrogen, it is burning with a pop sound. For carbon dioxide, it is what is the lime water turning milky. For nitrogen, what is the test? Is what I want to know. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. Cool, guys. Thank you so much. If there's no other question, we can wind up. Any other question? Okay. Fine, guys. Thank you so much. We'll meet again. Yes, I think there is something in the chat. Yeah, fine. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen, and I think I'll end.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.